Alright everyone, we start off today talking about the hush money case against Donald Trump, of course. That's fairly big news. He has avoided sentencing. Now, somebody asked me the other day on my live stream, does this mean that he's no longer, technically speaking, at least in this case, a convicted felon? My understanding is that he has still been convicted. That's still technically on the record. It's just that there's no way to sentence him, because he's been elected president of the United States. So, in other words, the case is dead, but it's sort of a legal gray area. It's like basically a zombie legal case, if you can think of it that way. He's been convicted, but he can't actually be punished for that conviction. Now, do I agree with the conviction? Of course not. I believe that Trump is completely innocent with regards to that. But a court did actually convict him. He was found guilty. It's just that they can't do anything about it. It's like you say that somebody's tyrannical or evil or something like that, but you lack the capability to do anything about the fact that they're being tyrannical. In Trump's case, of course, I don't feel that way. I looked at this case and the other cases against him, and I said, what the hell are you even doing? This is clearly lawfare. In the case of Juan Merchan, or Merchan, I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, actually. Basically, sentencing has simply been indefinitely delayed, which means it's never going to happen. Donald Trump is going to serve out his term, and they're not going to do jack shit afterwards. They're not going to be capable of it. Because, keep in mind, this is lawfare. Why would you bother to do so ex post facto after he's already left the presidency when he can't run for office again? There's no point to it. It would be a waste of time. It would drag on for years. It would be pointless. So they're not going to do anything. Donald Trump effectively has managed to fuck the justice system, which is probably for the best because the justice system ain't very just. If you've ever been through jail, you would probably understand the dynamics of that situation. So he won't be sentenced. He's not going to face a day in jail. The liberals were wrong, and they worked themselves up into a frenzy, saying, oh my god, Donald Trump's going to be in a jail cell. Here's, they would photo shoot pics of Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit and weird shit like that. And some of us tried to warn them it's never going to actually happen. First, because he's going to win the presidency. Secondly, because the precedent doesn't exist for you to punish him. I mean, you might be able to assess a fine, and then that drags on for years in the courts as well. That's basically the best that the liberals could ever hope for, especially with this particular case. But they worked themselves up, and they believed that Donald Trump was going to end up, in a literal jail cell with bars and everything else, wearing a jumpsuit. It was always funny to see, but it was never really particularly realistic. Again, the legal precedent does not exist for you to be able to do that during an active presidential campaign. And then afterwards, there's no reason to do it because there's no way to stop him from having been president for that second term. And the only point to any of these cases was to try to keep him from being elected. That was literally the only point from day one. None of these cases actually have any relevance. The Mar-a-Lago documents case with Jack Smith, I noticed that the legacy media doesn't like to talk about him very much. He gives up the case after having created effectively nothing more than a pernicious attack on Donald Trump based on literally no legal precedent. Every single one of these cases, Fulton, Jack Smith's case, the hush money case, none of them make any legal sense whatsoever. Oftentimes, you're ignoring precedent entirely just to wage the case in the first place. Donald Trump was always going to win these cases. But he's winning them, oddly enough, by losing. In all of these instances, everyone thinks that they have Trump dead to rights, right? But then inexplicably, everything just sort of pans out and he skates completely. And he deserves to, because he did nothing wrong. It's not illegal for a former president of the United States to take their homework back home with them. If it were, Bill Clinton would be in a cell, Mike Pence would be in a cell, Joe Biden would be in a cell. You get the idea. They would all basically be in prison. If it was illegal to pay someone in a sexual assault case and settle out of court, then holy shit, half the politicians in D.C. would be in jail. The fact is that Trump didn't even do anything illegal. This has been pointed out by legal experts. It's actually fairly common. Okay, you feel that I've sexually assaulted you. You don't actually have any evidence that I've done anything wrong. But I just don't want you to go to the press, so here's a bunch of money. That's what Donald Trump did, effectively, in this case. Effectively, hey, I've got a brand, leave me the fuck alone. You want to pay off here, $100,000, it means nothing to me, because I can make that in an afternoon. That's what Donald Trump did. In all of these other cases, with Fulton, etc., there is no legal standing for them to even prosecute Donald Trump. But they're prosecuting him anyway, because the legal system has clearly gone off, it's gone off the rails. The legal system at this point is no longer operating like an actual justice system. It's actually acting as an arm of whatever administration happens to exist. I would love to rhetorically ask the two liberals that hate watch me, that are still watching this video at the time, does it make you comfortable knowing that Donald Trump is soon going to be having that discretionary legal power? Probably not. Well, you've made your bed, now you're going to have to lay in it. As far as the cases against him, none of them ever made any sense. Many people were pointing this out over and over. Where's the actual case? It's more like the court has simply unilaterally decided to prosecute someone without any actual central case to prosecute, just to drag them through the mud, sully their name, try to extract money from them in the process of doing so, and that's pretty much all that happened here. I'm not surprised that this has been indefinitely delayed now. There will be no sentencing. Donald Trump is not going to serve time in jail. He's not going to be fined. He's not going to be punished in any way. This is a stepping back from the legal case because the legal case is understood to be nothing more than bullshit to begin with. Effectively, Merchan is saving his own ass more than anything else with this case. That's about all. Peace out.